Coming up on this episode of the Village Idiom.
So good.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was a tragedy.
Somehow, in some way, Jesus saved my brisket is the only solution that I have.
Dum dum da da, Village Idiom.
Hello and welcome to the Village Idiom.
We are a podcast that every week chooses a popular saying to take a shallow but hopefully comedic, once while even interesting dive into its meaning, its usage, its origins, and we're also going to use it to hang our otherwise directionless conversation on. My name is Jurassic Mark.
I'm Skinny. So
Hello,
good.
Skinny.
So good to be here.
It is good to be here.
It's safety day.
Yeah.
I hate it when we choose the same clothes.
Just call me on your way over.
It's ridiculous.
Say, I'm wearing my reflective vest.
How was I going to know you're wearing your reflective vest today?
Wonder what these lights are doing it for on camera. We're blinding. It's just overexposed.
Oh, I'm sure it's causing someone to go into
Seizure?
some grand mals right now. Our apologies. Well,
luckily it has everything to do with today's idiom.
It makes me think of those things where, like, traffic control people are there. It's like, take it easy. You're gonna get there eventually.
Right. Good call. I was about to mock that has nothing to do with what we're talking about today, but you proved me wrong.
I'm a wordsmith.
So say that again.
He's a wordsmith.
No, not that.
I'm a wordsmith.
Okay, I've lost you.
Like Will Smith. Well,
Can you hear this? No, you can't hear that.
I can't hear it. It's all good.
We'll get back to it.
It's not always the rate at which you get somewhere, but it's the accomplishing the getting somewhere is what I'm saying.
Say that again. It's not
today
always.
Today I got a chance to jump into a friend's Tesla, which was fun. But you know, when you jump in one of those things because you don't have one, you got to floor it. And it's not just getting there at a, like, life isn't always about getting there in a rate that is snail-like.
Life isn't all about getting there in a pace that's snail-like.
Sometimes you got to blitz through, is what I'm saying, in order to get to the end. It's not just like...
So tell me about was that the end of the Tesla story?
So I jumped in. Tesla, he's like, you want to drive? I'm like, yeah, I want to drive. And so I jumped in. It was like, oh, leisurely is fun. And then, of course, you have to pin it. And those things are like little pieces of lightning.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Have you not drove one?
No.
You got to drive one. It's ridiculous and should be illegal. They're so fun. Anything that fun is always illegal. It goes so fast, so quick, without squealing. It's just all traction, all go. And so sometimes life is like that, too. It's sometimes fast and reckless wins the race.
See, my brain is still old-fashioned that way, where I'm like
horse and buggy.
No, like it's got a double A in the back. How is this possibly, like, there's no gasoline being burnt? It's not going to take off like a rocket.
It does. That's all I'm saying. Think about how fast electricity is.
This one runs on rechargeable batteries. This one burns fuel. You hear the difference?
Yeah, it's not like it's got like gunpowder or something in it. It's like electricity is so fast. Think about how fast electricity
is fast.
That's all I'm saying.
You're right.
Point is, I believe that slow and steady wins the race.
Is that what you're trying to get at?
I was trying to get there. I appreciate you making me drag it out 10 different ways.
Well, it was the formulation. You're literally whispering, wordsmith. And then you're like, life isn't all about going at the pace of a snail.
What? He's just making me say things.
Wordsmith. Will Smith.
I'm the lyrical gangster. So, yeah, that's slow and steady does win the race, but
right.
Every once in a while, just cutting loose and reckless and fast. Go fast. Go fast.
Slow and steady wins the race. We're going to get into the origins, but, like, no, it doesn't really. Slow and steady wins the cross-country race if everyone else is sprinting and dying. But you still got to be the fastest, even if you're going slow and steady.
Just coming off the Olympics, slow and steady does not win the race.
Exactly.
Yeah, slow and steady gets you not on a box of Wheaties.
Unless, slow and steady had its place in the Cannonball Run. People getting pulled over by cops and other crazy misadventures, actually.
Right.
And some just did the slow and steady thing, and they did pretty good. So,
overall, I think
We're going to find out in Origins that
there's
this
safety.
comes from the Cannonball Run.
That's crazy. Help me, Burt Reynolds. Well, I will say about Slow and Steady winning the race. I was just in North Langley. They've been advertising on Instagram. Authentic Texas barbecue. Authentic Texas barbecue.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Out at Dry Digger Farms.
Oh.
And so I was with my buddy Steve. He's like, we got to go check this place out. They're advertising on Instagram, authentic Texas barbecue. You're like, I love barbecue. Like, how
is that today?
Authentic is it? No, it was last.
Oh, I thought you said
the other week. Anyway, and as we were jumping in, then the guy wheels in this, and this vehicle looks like it's on fire. The actual smoker units are built right into the unit.
Wow.
And he uses like authentic, like it's like wood, thyme, and salt and pepper. Those are his ingredients.
Not time the spice.
Not time, THY.
Time the minutes.
Yes. And Slow and Steady wins the race. He's like, these briskets have been going for 16 hours. I'll finish these off it'll happen for today. And as soon as I go home, they go new set back on. And he's there. Yeah, 4 days a week for lunch and dinner. Amazing. You must be treated to this feast.
So he's there 4 days a week?
4 days a week.
I thought that you went to like some little country festival thing.
He rolls in like a food truck to Dry Digger Farms as authentic Texas barbecue. And he's like, yeah, my house is right there. So he like lives like across the street, but he backs in this like trailer unit that's custom made.
Like it looks like a black
smoke,
train car.
Yep. That kind of thing. The smoker portion, like the handles are axes that like the hand, like the
looks like
the wedge part is welded on.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and you open it up as axes, and he's excited to talk to you about it. He's like, these are just salt and pepper, boys. Like salt and pepper, that's all it is. And he's like this ripped bodybuilder type dude, all tatted up, and he is into barbecue.
I love it.
And so in terms of end product, salt and pepper, Slow and Steady wins the race. So
well, and I guess that'd be true for tattoos too.
Slow and Steady wins the race.
Slow and steady is a better way to get a tattoo.
That's why people like books more than a movie that's over in 2 hours. Why would you just use 2 hours to consume that information when you could spend a week reading a book?
Yeah, I don't know. I listen to my podcasts at 2 to 3 times the speed.
I do 1.5 speed. Yeah.
I do 2 regularly.
Except for like Ben Shapiro, who speaks at 1.5 speed.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's a couple that I go back to regular speed. There's a couple crime ones where I just don't want to miss something. And then if I'm really falling behind, I'll bump it up to 3.
That's insane. I don't know if I could catch stuff that fast.
It actually takes a while. Like you got to forfeit the first 10 minutes and then you're like, boom, I'm understanding everything.
Interesting.
Yeah, brain again.
It's the brain. It's like riding that backwards bike or something like that.
Not quite the same as your Texas ribs, but I talked to a guy in Texas today.
The sample platter. Let me finish. The sample platter is ribs, brisket, sausage, burnt ends, Dr. Pepper burnt ends, and then you can tag on if you want cornbread or slaw.
Sounds all
baked beans,
amazing.
Which is made from yesterday's brisket.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's great.
It's amazing. Continue. You talked to Texas today.
That was my whole story.
Okay, good.
Talked to somebody in Texas. I just wanted to be a part of it. What you were doing. I didn't get to taste
after you ate
the brisket.
You just smelled of smoke.
Totally.
It's amazing.
Do you remember Dickie's barbecue?
Oh, yeah. In the States? Oh, yeah.
See, if you're going to put a chain vibe to it, because you can only be as authentic barbecue as you can. But as far as chain barbecue goes, man, that was good stuff.
It was good because we're not used to barbecue in that fashion.
Right.
Like the closest we get to barbecue is like special, like it's the barbecue quarter pounder from McDonald's. You want barbecue sauce on that? Makes it taste like barbecue. Does it? Does your sauce make it taste like barbecue? I don't think it does.
That's funny.
So
Jim Gaffigan feel to it. Does it? I'll put some barbecue sauce on that. It'll taste like
jokes
barbecue.
Is he gonna do? So anyway,
Slow and Steady wins the race.
Well, the other thing I was thinking about in terms of slow and steady, because I know that you're a kind of person where you love a good deadline, and so you can coast and enjoy life through to the deadline and then work like a maniac to get it done.
That's a fault of mine. I'm a procrastinator.
You think it's procrastinating?
Yeah, I do. Because things that don't have deadlines, I tend to get them done quick.
That's funny.
And
so we're slow and steady. What do you think about just that process?
Like an AGM report. So AGM would give you guys 60 days to write your AGM report. It's got to be handed in
night before.
Day 59. That is when that's happening.
Yeah.
And
was that today?
Where if it's just like, hey, I need an AGM report. Okay. And I'm on it.
Get it done.
But deadlines.
Okay,
I'm a procrastinator.
Google, don't fail me. Search
so if I did slow and steady
AGM report, change days,
if I did
and done.
Slow and steady on the AGM report and it had 60 days, it'd be amazing.
Right. It'd be so good.
Yeah.
It'd be so good. But so is
People
it
crying.
Do you think procrastination and slow and steady, would you say you're like more of a microwave human than a barbecue human?
Yeah, it depends on what we're talking about. Like, I like a good 3 minutes as much as anyone, but I also don't mind delayed gratification.
Like just complete late.
So a task like an AGM report, that's going to get procrastinated, right? But I do, like, if I'm working on a project that I'm passionate about, whether it's music or, whatever, then, it's all about slow and steady, get it right, tweak it again, make it better, tweak it again.
The one thing I do love about the slow and steady is that if you barf stuff out on paper right early, and then you let it simmer for like a week, and then you look at it again, you're like, that's trash, or this could be better, because your brain is still working.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
have we ever talked about how fascinating the brain is?
I think we have. But you're almost describing the barfing out on paper and letting it simmer. You're almost describing the brisket.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you take a look at it, and that's got to be longer.
It was so.
And then you hand in your AGM report and go, it's just salt and pepper, boys.
This AGM, I was going to microwave it, but I just salt and peppered it and gave it some time. I just let it smoke with some good applewood.
Try this one.
Yeah, try this AGM report.
Try this AGM.
Can you feel the flavor?
You want some whiskey with that?
The depth.
Try this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's slow and steady. Yeah.
It has a smoke ring. Slow
and steady wins the race for a fine product, but does not win the race in anything athletic. Slower.
Sorry, it's jamming right into my neck.
The Velcro?
Yeah.
The so rough side of Velcro.
I don't know, whatever it is.
You should have thought, like, the soft side isn't pointed toward your skin. Do you know why Velcro is called Velcro, actually?
No.
This fascinates me, stuff like this. Velcro, so you got the two sides. You got the soft side, the fuzzy side.
It's like the McDLT.
And you've got
cold side,
cold side, cold.
Hot side,
and
hot.
The rough side is so the soft side is like velour, The rough side is like tiny crochet hooks, Velcro. That's real.
Is that real?
That's real.
Wow.
That's why they called it Velcro.
It was the McDLT?
Velvet and crochet hooks.
Because the cold side was cold and the hot side was hot.
And then they store it all under a heat lamp.
McDLT. So, anywho.
Wow, okay. Wow. Once again, we have a fascinating intro that takes up half of the episode. You're welcome, illegitimate children.
We should get into where this actually comes from.
You want to? Or you want to just keep talking brisket? I'm starving, by the way.
Are you?
After all that, my mouth, literally, I
still have one more brisket tale to tell.
Brisket tale to tell.
So I was.
You know the difference between a brisket barbecuer and a marine biologist?
No.
A brisket barbecuer uses nothing but thyme and salt and pepper. A marine biologist
uses
salt water and
seaweed.
And anybody who's
anyways,
listening, if you're listening,
some time to
if this is your first episode of Village Idiom, you have to go back. Too many references
It needs to cook a little more. This one's still raw.
Anyway.
I was so inspired that we had this brisket that I had some family coming over the following weekend. The weekend past it, I'm like, I'm going to smoke a brisket. And so...
Is that the hardest part?
Yes, I do. And so I'm like, you got to start, because it's 16 hours and we wanted to have it for family lunch the next day. And you need to...
And you've got the right gear to smoke a brisket?
Oh, yeah. I've got the gear. Oh, I've got the gear. Don't let anyone who says I don't have the gear, they're liars.
Okay, so slow and steady me.
And so I started the night before, so somewhere about 7:00. And I'm like, I had this elaborate rub that I'd online, all the rest of it. I'm like, I'm doing salt and pepper. That's it. I'm just gonna do salt and pepper. And I needed to wake up about 4 a.m. to make some adjustments and wrap it. And all the rest of it. Totally slept through till 7:30. Pulled out this what I thought is like, this thing is dark. Like it's not meat anymore. I was so sad.
So then you use that as your charcoal briquette.
No, I'm like, and I'm like, oh, I'm into it now. Like, I just gotta go for it. And so when I woke up, like the 4 hours past when I intended to, I wrapped it then, got it all in. I extended the cook time, dropped the temperature even more to extend the cook time. It was so good.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was a tragedy.
Somehow, in some way, Jesus saved my brisket is the only solution that I have. He reached his Jesus hand down and touched the brisket and made it good. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like your brisket saved.
Well, because it was like, you look at it, you're like,
that hand.
There's going to be no moisture in this thing.
Right.
But
you made jerky.
I thought that's where it was going, but inside, still moist, flavorful.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anyways, that's the end of my story.
That's great. Well, let's get into this, shall we?
Let's do it.
That's not the right thing.
That's okay.
Do you want to do riddlings?
We should probably say where it comes from first.
Okay, origins. Okay.
I said some words, where'd they go? Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around and looked behind. Those words came from another mind. Origins.
Ooh. There you go. Origins.
Where does this thing actually come from?
Well, as you probably would guess, Slow and Steady Wins the Race is commonly cited as originating from one of Aesop's fables, specifically the story The Tortoise and the Hare. The story basically describes an egotistical hare, well known for his speed, who is challenged to a race by a tortoise. You know what I love already about The Tortoise and the Hare? That you never hear this story referred to as the turtle and the bunny.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, challenged to a race by a tortoise known for his slow walking speed, the hare eagerly accepts the challenge and takes off running as soon as the race starts, but due to the hare's overestimation of his abilities and his pride, he stops around the halfway point for some brisket.
He falls asleep.
He takes a nap.
And
he figures the tortoise is so slow he'll be able to sleep for a while, wake up, finish well ahead, but the hare keeps sleeping as the tortoise passes him, or he keeps sleeping as the brisket continues to cook.
That happened to me.
When he finally wakes up, he's got beef jerky. When he finally wakes up, the tortoise has already won. From this story, the reader is meant to interpret the moral in a certain way and understand that pride will likely be one's downfall. So everywhere you look is said that this comes from Aesop's fable, Tortoise and the Hare. And it obviously does. But the words, our actual idiom, slow and steady wins the race, is the theme of the Tortoise and the Hare. It's never spoken in the Tortoise and the Hare. And I think we have time. I'm going to read a poem. It's a little long, but not bad. From I wrote it down here, 1757 by Robert... Shoot, I'm scrolling all over the place. Robert Lloyd. So English poet,
Robert Lloyd.
Who makes a poem about Slow and Steady Wins the Race, but it is about the tortoise and the hare. I won't bother with my English accent today because it's too long. Here it is. Genius blessed term of meaning wide, for sure no term is misapplied. How many bear thy sacred name that never felt a real flame? Proud of the specious appellation, thus fools have christened inclination, but yet suppose a genius true, exempli gratia me or you, whate'er he tries with due attention, rarely escapes his apprehension, surmounting every opposition, you'd swear he learnt by intuition. Should he rely alone on parts and study therefore but by starts, sure of success whene'er he tries, should he forego the means to rise. Suppose your watch a Graham make, gold, if you will, for value's sake. It springs within an order due. No watch when going goes so true. If ne'er wound up with proper care, what service is it in the wear? Some genial spark of Phoebus' rays perhaps within your bosom plays? Oh, how the purer rays aspire if application fans the fire. Without it genius vainly tries. Howe'er sometimes it seems to rise. Nay, application will prevail when braggart parts and genius fail. And now to lay my proof before ye, I here present you with a story. In days of yore, when time was young, when birds conversed as well as sung, when use of speech was not confined merely to brutes of humankind, a forward hare of swiftness vain, the genius of a neighboring plain, would oft deride the drudging crowd, for geniuses are ever proud. He'd boast his flight 'twere vain to follow, for dog and horse he'd beat them hollow. Nay, if he put forth all his strength, outstrip his brethren half a length. A tortoise heard his vain oration, and vented thus his indignation. O puss! It bodes thee dire disgrace, when I defy thee to the race. Come, 'tis a match, nay, no denial, I lay my shell upon the trial. 'Twas done and done, all fair a bet, judges prepared and distance set. The scampering hare outstripped the wind, the creeping tortoise lagged behind. That's one line where the poetry allows the spelling to rhyme for you. Drives me crazy. And scarce had passed a single pole when puss had almost reached the goal. Friend tortoise, quoth the jeering hare, your burthen's more than you can bear. To help your speed, it were as well that I should ease you of your shell. Jog on a little faster, pray thee. I'll take a nap, and then be with thee. So said, so done, and safely sure, for say what conquest more secure. Whene'er he waked, that's all that's in it. He could o'ertake him in a minute. The tortoise heard his taunting jeer, but still resolved to persevere, still drawled along as who should say, I'll win like Fabius. By delay, on to the goal securely crept, while puss unknowingly soundly slept. The bets were won, the hare awake, when thus the victor tortoise spake. Puss, though I own thy quicker parts, things are not always done by starts. You may deride my awkward pace. Drumroll, please. But slow and steady wins the race. So it is Robert Lloyd's poem of the tortoise and the hare that actually uses the phrase that we so often hear, slow and steady wins the race.
So Aesop's Fable, he writes a poem about Aesop's Fable.
Yeah, so Aesop is like 600.
Yeah, it's Greek.
Yeah. And Robert Lloyd is 1750 something, this poem.
So he takes one of the allegories, mashes it up, makes a good time of it.
Yep.
But he says the actual words.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's the origins.
That's like
Aesop's Fable, Robert Lloyd poem.
So when you're around the water cooler today, Village Idiom children,
quote that poem.
Not that you're gonna say, oh, that's actually not from Aesop's Fable. It's based on a poem which uses Aesop's Fable.
Robert Lloyd,
English
poet.
Kind of surprised you didn't know that.
Surprised you didn't know that.
While you're drinking your water,
have a hard candy shell,
and your coworkers hate you. There you go. That's another good day at the office.
Exactly.
Yeah. If it's not one thing like that, if anything, no one helps alienate people around the office more than us. And so, take away that.
I don't know. Cliff Clavin was well loved at Cheers.
Yeah,
he always had something like.
Actually,
it was Robert Lloyd.
Little unknown fact about that. Those are 3 people that have never been in my kitchen.
So he's on Jeopardy.
Anyway, that's good. Well,
yep. So
that's a satisfying conclusion.
Yeah, I thought so. It's simple. I thought we'd take the time to read the poem because I thought it was great that the final line is what people should do is, if you want to really be a know-it-all in a shorter fashion, instead of just going, but slow and steady wins the race, just add that extra line. So people are like, what did you just say? Just say, you may deride my awkward pace, but slow and steady wins the race.
There's another line to it? I didn't know there was another line. Oh, yeah.
Surprised I didn't know. There's
another poem from Robert Lloyd.
There are 49 lines, actually.
You think this is from Aesop's Fable? This guy.
And throw the word puss in there as much as you can.
Yeah, that's funny. Which it actually has no, like...
It doesn't say, but obviously that's the turtle referring to the rabbit.
Yeah.
As puss. Whether it's his name, nobody knows.
Whatever.
It's not bugs.
No. Anyways, there's always... I do like the idea of just keep at it.
Exactly.
There's a
Yeah,
good
it's perseverance.
Just keep at it.
Perseverance.
Yeah. So,
But if he had kept at it and the rabbit won, do you quit or do you keep at it?
well, I don't know, because there's those things where there is a huge satisfaction in completion. It's like
Totally.
the guy won the Boston Marathon. The lady, she came first place.
4 hours later,
Yeah.
somebody...
Do I just stop because she beat me to death? Like,
Or do you complete
Well,
it and
she
go,
won.
I ran the Boston
you say,
Marathon.
I ran the
Yeah.
marathon.
Well, on that note, here's a little Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
The race. Slow and steady wins the race.
I think we all learned a little something from that.
I'm glad to have. Well, we should get into the tail end of things. You ready to play some riddlinks with us?
I suppose we could. You ready for that?
I am. Let's do it. Village children, get ready to jump in.
All right. Well, Riddlink is a game we like to play that takes a two-part trivia-based question and requires a two-part overlapping answer, overlapping by sound, syllable, words, whatever. So, for example, last week we left you, during our idiom Wag the Dog, we left you with, well, I've got my version of it because I didn't jot down yours. Is that all right?
Go for it. Go for yours.
Political idiom referring to a small entity controlling a larger one, starring Dwayne Chapman as a fugitive catcher. We had matching Riddlink puzzles for each other.
It was good. You got to know it. Wag the dog, the bounty hunter.
That's it. Wag the dog, the bounty hunter. So wag the dog and dog the bounty hunter, and that's how you play Riddlink.
Well, I've got two. Do you got two?
I got two. Hopefully
they're
we're different.
Let's jump in. I'll go first.
Okay.
All right. Aesop's turtle and rabbit.
Aesop's turds.
Aesop's turtle and rabbit sing "Good Morning Baltimore."
Good morning, Baltimore.
Good morning, Baltimore.
Oh. Is it, wait, don't say anything. Is it the tortoise and the hairspray?
Yes.
Hairspray, okay.
Good for you. Tortoise and the hairspray.
All right, I got one for you.
All right.
Slow and Steady Fable wears these number 23 Nikes. Let me read it again. Slow and Steady Fable wears these number 23 Nikes.
Tortoise and the hair Jordan.
That's it.
Nice. All right. I forgot to read it twice. I'll read this one twice.
Oh, not paying attention here.
You all ready?
No.
All right.
Messing up here.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Hurry. Let's move a little faster to read this great book of allegories.
One more time. Read it twice.
Hurry. Illegitimate children. Hurry. Hurry. Let's move a little faster to read this Greek book of allegories.
What? I have no idea. Hurry, let's move a little faster.
To read this Greek book of allegories.
Aesop's Fables?
Hurry.
Aesop's Fables?
Let's move a little faster.
I'm stumped. Something Aesop's Fables.
Mm-hmm. You
It's not-
would encourage someone to go a little faster by saying to them,
Keep up the Aesop's Fables?
pick up the pace.
Pick up the pace.
Pick up the Paceop's fables.
Pick up the Aesop's Fables. Win the Raceop's Fables.
Wave of the future. Wave of the future.
Okay, I got one more, but let's let everybody play along this time.
Illegitimate children, please reach out to us on Instagram at the.village.idiom or email us at thevillageidiompodcast@gmail.com, or whether it's the Facebooks, the YouTubes, or the Twitters at 3 Minutes Gone.
So you stumped me on that one. I'm curious. I want people to reach out at the places that Skinny just said. Did you beat me on that one? I was fumbling. I was getting nowhere without the hints. Just say, I beat you. Send us a message.
Sounds good. What do you got for us to send it home?
Right here. I got this one. Tortoise and the Hare idiom is the most popular deck. Sorry. Tortoise and the Hare idiom is the most popular card in the deck.
Got it.
Oh, that's
And
how you
that
play.
is 3 minutes gone. Good job, man.
Yeah,
I
good.
think I was able to pick up what you're putting down.
I don't know if this will be entertaining to anybody else, but back in your 3 minutes gone.
That's never stopped us before.
Nope. Back in your 3 minutes gone video making days, I don't know if you remember the Rubik's Cube 360 degree video you
do.
made, but I used to chime in, leave some comments, whether I was a part of the video or not, hoping that, leaving a comment on a video might help out the viewership and however the algorithms work, blah, blah, blah. So on that particular one, this is 4 years ago, on that particular one, I left a comment that said it was totally like fake news, Did you know that this actually used to be called rubrics because it was you would rue the day that you ever messed with these bricks as you spin them around. And you replied right away with some other nonsense. Actually, I heard the French inventor of this lived on such and such a street,
That sounds like something I would say.
Street in French is rue, and you went on and on and on. Today, somebody commented under those two comments 4 years later.
What?
And I don't know who it is, but he said this. I don't think that's true.
That's awesome.
I was dying laughing.
That sounds-
I got a notification. I'm like, what is this?
That sums up our lives.
I don't think
I
that's
don't
true.
think that's true. Okay.
So thank you for making my day
Whoever that is.
and calling us out on
yeah,
our
we love it.
fakeness.
Well, it was fun putting today's episode together. We hope you enjoyed listening to it. Thank you. Get back to either driving to work or being on your treadmill. I'm Skinny.
I am Jurassic Procrastinator Mark.
And these are the Village Idioms.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Last 3 minutes gone.